what video did they make you change for the minstrel show? What happened?
Loving it.
Oh, okay.
The only video we shot. We had an idea. We had the original idea. Um, man, it would have been so crazy. It was going to be like a TV show. Like we were all characters in a TV show, and you would see us acting in said TV show. But then when it cuts, when we on break, you see who we really are. And so it was like we were playing a part, and then we were being really who we were. So that was the whole idea, and we had to, change that. I don't think it was for content reasons. I think it was more financial reasons. And so we had to keep changing it till it ended up getting stripped down and became what it became. And I mean, that was a fun day. We had a lot of our friends, in New York. We shot that in was it Williamsburg? I don't know. It was in Brooklyn, but we shot that at a spot. I can't even remember the venue name, but a venue in Brooklyn. And so it was a fun day, man. First big time video. And we just did it. But then when we saw it, we was like, that wasn't nowhere near our idea. But like I said, it was a fun day, man. And I mean, it was a lot of money compared to today for video. I mean, we still spent like 35K on that video, which is today, they're trying to squeeze 2 videos out of 35K today.
Shoot,
but
3.
Yeah. If you could do 3, we'll take 3. But so that was the thing. And then we never ended up getting another single. We officially got another single, but we never got another video. That was the only video we ever shot.
Which is crazy given the attention, acclaim, all that you guys had, which always baffles me. But this is as we're getting into this part of your guys' career, it's the music business, and people always forget they're together for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's not one is not exclusive of the other, but
exactly.
And that's a hard thing to understand. Even though I'm not an artist, just having to deal in the music business and do all this stuff, the more I've learned over the years, I shake my head all the time.
Oh yeah, when you peel that curtain back, that's when you start seeing what's really what. It's in a way it's disheartening, but it definitely gives you different perspective. Like even now to this day, I like to compare myself to, and not in skill, but just in how I conduct myself, I'll say, to a Nas almost, where yes, he's in the music business, but he pops up when it's time for him to pop up, and then he's doing whatever else he's doing, being a venture capitalist or whatever he's doing when he's not, in rap mode. And that's me. Like I tell my young guys all the time, look, man, I operate on the edges, man. I'm not a really industry guy. I really love music. I love making music, putting music together, helping other people make music. I come in and do that. I promote my stuff and I go about my business. Like I don't want to get caught up in music business politics or just I don't want to become an industry guy, as people like to call it. So I don't want to be that. Like it's not, that part of it isn't that appealing. It's necessary, but it's not that appealing to me. So I just step in when I need to, and then I'm out and I'm doing my thing.
Well, that's a very interesting thing because starting with Sleepers on the solo side of thing, you've put out so much material on a regular basis that it's intriguing that's how you're able to dip in and out because it always seems like you're in. So what could you explain a little bit more of that since you've been putting out so much music for the last 15 years plus?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I love creating, I love making music, and being an indie artist allows you that freedom to come and go as you will. So when I'm home, for the most part, I'm still in North Carolina, and it's not really industry here. Like, you have artists here, obviously, but it's not an industry here. So I'm not, oh, I got to go to this function. I got to go to this event. I got to do this person in town, that person in town. Like, people only really come here when they're touring. So that allows me, like, whereas if I lived in New York or LA, you always in something. It's always something happening. It's always an event going on. There's always this going on. So being that I live where I live, I can choose what I want to get involved in. It's like, okay, I'm choosing to go to LA for 2 weeks so I can do X, Y, and Z. I'm choosing to go to New York so I can do X, Y, and Z. Whereas when I'm home, I don't do anything. I just make music. I literally, I mean, obviously you can see behind me, I record here. It's a studio I go to. I record there. If I want to change up the atmosphere, or when we in little brother mode, I go up to Fonte house and I record there. That's it. Like, I don't go to many events. I mean, I go to more now because I'm managing, but for the most part, I don't go to events. I'm not trying to be in the mix. I'm not, and that's the benefit of not really having an industry here. And so that's when I say I get to pick and choose, is because I really only jump into industry things when I choose to go somewhere else. And that's the luxury I have of living where I live. Like, and I'm not in Atlanta. Atlanta, you have industry in Atlanta as well. 4 hours from Atlanta. I rarely go to Atlanta. Rarely. Like, so that's just me being able to run the race I want to run and do the things that I want to do. And I'm blessed because I have the respect of a lot of people. So I can be in and out. I keep in contact with people, of course, but as far as being in the mix, well, one, I was just never that guy. And two, now I'm too old to be that guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that's also intriguing, and I always am interested about these types of things. With Sleepers, the song Every Block, you have Fonte on there. So as you're embarking upon a solo career, Little Brother is still a big entity. Why not just be by yourself? Why bring Fonte in on the solo side of things?
The funny part is we did that song. We were just doing random songs. That song wasn't intentionally meant for my solo record. That's just a Little Brother song we had that I just used, because what a lot of people don't understand is my upcoming solo that I'm currently working on will be the first solo project that Fonte has had any hand in my whole career. And I always set out to do solo work when we were together. And then obviously we separated and then we came back. But I always set out to do solo work without his help, because I wanted to prove to people that I could do it, that I could put an album together. I was a good artist. Like, that was always my thing, to show people what I brought to the table as part of Little Brother. So I never asked for his assistance. And so all them projects you heard was me doing me. Obviously, yes, I had help for Sleepers in particular. Crisis was in there with me 95% of the time. But that was my thinking, was like, and at the time he was doing the foreign exchange project. So it was like, I got to go do something. I'm going to go do my thing. And I just plucked the song that we had, an extra song we had, and put it on the album. Other than that, he didn't hear the album till it was done.
Oh, wow.
Like, he knew I was working on something, but he didn't hear it till it was done.
Interesting.
So, yeah. So that's why that was the only solo you actually heard Fonte on, and then you didn't hear him on anymore, because we didn't have any more Little Brother tracks I could grab up that fit into what I was doing.
Okay. Yeah, I was always curious about that. So as your career progressed, and then you started getting like stuff with the purple tape and black melt, how getting outside of that circle per se,
Hmm.
and that's something you've continued to do, which we'll be talking about in a minute. But how did you find artistically, you know, stretching out with people from different areas, Detroit in that instance, and
Hmm.
using Prince samples and all these different things? How did you find you were able to tap in differently creatively?
My hunger for more. I just I just wanted more. I was like that kid who didn't start playing basketball till he was a junior in high school. Um, so I was a late starter, late bloomer. And once I got on the little groove, I wanted more. And yeah, I felt at the time I had to, it was ninth, it was crisis, but I'm getting all of these different people from different places offering me beats and sending me stuff. And, of course, my tastes were all over the place. I listened to a lot of West Coast stuff at the time. So I just wanted to continuously just stretch out and try different things, stretch out, try different things, which meant I was going to have to try working with different producers, different beat makers. And that's all it was. It was just wanting more than what I had and feeling like, I sound good over a lot of different things. And for me, it was about finding what I felt I sounded great over. And that meant I had to try stuff. It's stuff I tried that people would never hear. Um, just trying to in a fact finding mission, almost trying to figure out what my voice sounded good with. And the one thing I believe I trained myself to do and got very good at was knowing what was for me and what wasn't. Uh, I've turned down some fabulous beats because although the beat was fabulous, I felt it wasn't for me. And that came from me doing that fact finding mission with just stretching myself out and trying to work with different producers. And there was people that I liked. The whole purple tape thing came about. Black Milk, of course, had released, the beats. And I was on my way home from Denmark and I wanted to do something, but I didn't want to do a quote unquote album. I wanted to do something a little different, something that felt like a mixtape, but really wasn't a mixtape because I didn't like wasting my bars on just what I felt was empty calories, just rapping over other people's beats like that. So I was listening to that beat tape on the way home and I hit Black Milk and was like, look, man, I just, want to let you know I want to, rap over these instrumentals. I didn't want to just do it and just put it out, throw it out there, and you had no knowledge. And he was like, yo, I appreciate it. Just let me hear it before you put it out. And so I just went to work and it was free. It was like an exercise. It was just me going in with no rhyme or reason, just going in, doing whatever I felt, and I wasn't overthinking it. And that's kind of what that represented for me at the time. And just from there, I just continued to grow, just continue to reach out to more or different producers from different places and just seeing what we was able to cook up. And I eventually connected with cats from over from France and the West Coast and the South and the Midwest and the East Coast and all over the place. And that's what started the Fat Boy Fresh brand, was the hodgepodge of sounds as I searched for what eventually became Dirty Pretty Things.
Yes. Well, 30 Pretty Things, I think my favorite on there is Are You Ready? And
Oh yeah.
that I really like the tag team element of it, but I also like the scratching and then the CB4 references and Down by Law and all this different stuff. So, given that that was 2011, I think scratching is one of my favorite things and one of the reasons I fell in love with rap, but it's obviously faded a lot. So,
Mhm.
back now that that's 10 years ago, what made you throughout your career always want to embrace, endorse with On Your Are You Ready and other songs to have a lot of scratching still?
Primo. I've been I want I- have I've had the chance to work with a lot of my favorite producers that I grew up listening to. And I know Primo. I talked to Primo, but I have yet to record a song with Primo. But I always loved how he attacked scratch hooks and the beauty in it, the precision, the intensity. Like, I always loved everything about it. So when I do records, a lot of times I always have to find that one record that's going to end up having cuts on it. And like, that's just something I believe in. That's something that I always wanted. And I actually seek it. Like, I still, to this day, I still seek the record that's going to end up having cuts on it. And that's just something I feel is necessary. It's that, for me, it's that feeling of getting close to Primo while yet not working with Primo. So I'm preparing for the day I end up doing my song with DJ Premier.
Well, I send you success on that mission.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Be sure to check out the History of Gangster Rap by Soren Baker. He's official.
History of Gangster Rap features exclusive interviews with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, MC Ren, the D.O.C, and dozens of others. The History of Gangster Rap, a definitive look at how Los Angeles changed rap forever.
In Los Angeles, the streets definitely set the tone of the hip-hop music.
At 19, I got a $50,000 car.
My whole angle always was, I'll be street, but I will always tell you the horrors that go along with this life.
There will be penalties and casualties for just wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood.
And once gangster rap made it from the streets to the TV, the genre exploded.
With Fab 5 on Yo MTV back with NWA.
Yo MTV, it just catapulted us from being local heroes to national gangbang rappers.
The History of Gangster Rap discusses it all from 1980 up till today.
There's always gonna be shit happening in the streets. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
The History of Gangster Rap in stores now.